mean, what's so interesting, and I think needs to be reiterated here, is that Batrider has, he's been hit by the nerf bat on multiple occasions, right? Like, he's undergone so many changes, and he's still present in the draft. He's just so intimidating.
That's what Blitz was saying. We were talking about this with the DC coach,
Oh yeah,
William Blitzley, and he said that you need to change the hero fundamentally to really remove him, because everything that he does is so good.
Right.
So you'd need to change him a lot for him to not be like a god tier pick.
he's just frustrating as well. Like, you get sticky on you, you just can't turn around. That could tilt you.
Yep. Yeah, that can tilt you.
But we already know that they can be prone to tilting on the IG side, so it's probably a good job that they've got Batrider. Of course, that was according to Sakata, or him personally can tilt.
He seemed pretty confident.
Yeah, he's chill, man.
They ban out the Weaver, they ban out the Sniper. I mean, both of them obviously make a lot of sense versus VP's lineup, or versus VP, just because they even pick Sniper like in very random scenarios. Where it's not really like versus an OD or anything.
I know that guy.
So that's cool. You know that guy? Cool.
Yeah, it was Suns fan. It was a picture of Suns fan. I know that guy.
They still ban out the Juggernaut, even though Paparazzi will probably play the Luna, but Sakata has played a couple of games with Jugger as well, so want to avoid that in the mid lane. Does it give anything away about what they're going for mid? Because basically they're banning out two heroes that they don't want to go up against mid. I'm thinking a Dragon Knight. No one's Dragon Knight is very strong. It's
They used it a lot in the qualifying.
Yeah.
They were happy with it. Yeah. I mean, the Weaver ban makes sense from IG, because God knows you don't want to give that to VP, but...
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, point out that the DK, like VP isn't usually like that afraid anyway. Like, no one actually just kind of plays versus any, but giving him the best game is definitely like the opportune thing. So like looking at VP's lineup, the things that stand out to me at least is like they're probably gonna go for like their Darkseer, their Dragon Knight, get the mech timing, have probably the support Slardar. Still not obviously like put out there, but that's what their comfort is for the most part that they like to do.
It's early for pro players, it's early morning. Take it nice and easy, get a nice straightforward lineup. You don't want to do anything too crazy. This is early in the day, they need a good few hours to warm up.
Well, while they are thinking about it, I do want to kind of regurgitate some information regarding VP, and they came in with this kind of hyper-aggressive tag attached to them. You've seen them play in the group stage. Admittedly, it was quite brief, considering how quickly they glided through it, but did we still see them? Do they still deserve this hyper-aggressive tag, or have they got more diversity to their game now? I mean, surely they don't just have one playstyle, folk.
No, I mean they've recognized like a lot of what they have, like what their old mistakes used to be. They always pick like this lineup that's very good in the laning phase, maybe not like super strong lane phase, but strong, like pretty strong in the laning phase. Very good mid game, very good late game. Always making sure that they have like different types of damage instances, making sure they can take objectives very easily. High damage burst as well. Like Shadow Demon Slardar opens up a lot for yourself. Obviously with Amplify and Soul Catcher, any hero can get bursted down.
Right. I'm actually very intrigued that Lifestealer has been picked here. Out of the 12 games he was picked in the group stage, he won 4 of them. One of the least successful picks we saw in the group stage.
What were those 4 wins when they were on Virtus Pro?
Probably a good question to ask.
Ramsey's Lifestealer is something to definitely fear, and when it's paired up with the Slardar as well, it's a whole nother monster. So,
I really love the Treant Protector. That is the savior of lanes. I think we talked about it a little bit on a panel during the group stages where Treant Protector was picked, and it kind of removes the aspect of single outplay, or at least doesn't really remove it, but it makes it a lot more difficult for a player to get a single kill on someone that, by purely outplaying them. It requires more of the rotation coming out from the teams, and it helps them just keep the lanes more stable, which we have been talking about is very important for IG Vitality this game. And
complexity put it to good use.
That was it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I think it's they picked it, but VP picks the Darkseer. Obviously, Ion Shell very good at removing the tree refractions, and able to it's a hero that forces your team to group up with the Darkseer. So you want to group up and you want to take a tower in one push. So it's kind of it's a very good hero in most stages versus the Treant Protector.
Do you think VP are maybe lacking some push right here?
I think the DK was the one that stood out for me like super heavily. I would be very surprised if they didn't pick it. It fits their lineup perfectly. It gives them more lockdown, which they kind of lack right now. It's just the Slardar pretty much there, and I mean that's just VP, right? It fits everything that they really need.
Yep. A lot of melee though, if they go down that road. I guess
it's a lot of melee.
The range form with the dragon is fine, but that is a 4 melee hero.
Whoa, that was quick.
Yeah, well. VP. Yeah, that's a. I mean, this is cookie cutter. VP for the most part. I thought maybe they might get the Lifestealer 4th and the Darkseer 3rd, but they just kind of left it a little bit more open-ended. They probably thought that Pasha, leaving the Slardar to kind of have an option of either being support or off lane, letting it be more ambiguous was a better choice by them. But
Timbersaw is in the pool, isn't he?
Yes.
I'm wondering if they could take that and maybe run him mid or push him to the off lane and put the bat mid maybe.
They could definitely.
It'll be pretty good Timber in this game, I think.
The last pick.
We'll see what runs against the Dragonite that is really, really good against the Dragonite. I mean, Dragonite is not going to really lose his lane regardless, but what could do well? Funk.
That was Mamamoo, wasn't it?
That was Mamamoo.
That was Mamamoo and Papa Moo. Yeah. I mean, Timber looks pretty decent. I don't remember actually if Cicada plays it that much though, right? I know Paparazzi's played it a few times.
A lot of Queen of Pain, Templar Assassin, Shadow Fiend, Go Grody.
Please not Queen of Pain.
It's a good job winning.
Okay, yes, they do go for
It
the
is the Timber.
It's very good versus all the melee versus rank line.
Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting. Is that going to be the kind of closing thoughts then? IG going up against a very scary Virtus Pro, but the draft hasn't completely changed your mind. No. just clarifying. All right. Well, we'll leave it there for us here at the desk because our casters are ready. We're going to let them talk it through. On the menu tonight for your casting dish, it's none other than Toby and Malini. I call them Tobini.
Well, I know we're a bunch of dishes, but Tobini, I don't know if I really want to have that one.
You can quit a new one. Well, we've got a happy crowd behind us.
That we do. It's a wonderful early morning to start a great day of Dota. Virtus Pro going up against IG Vitality. I know a lot of people are looking at VP to be the #1 team, even to win the entire major. This is a best of 3 though.
Well, this is a draft that they should surely be expected to face up against. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I was actually wondering like how the draft would unfold. She was calling it perfectly that we'll look to see like the DK coming in from VP for that mid lane play. I was waiting for the live stealer as well. This is VP in a nutshell. Nothing changes, nothing is different. And IGV, Fog was asking for really strong lanes, and it appears through that draft they've actually got that. Treant Protector always going to be there to lend that lending hand or living armor.
And the Witch Doctor and Timbersaw. It's very, very good versus this 3 strength 4 melee lineup that they're running.
You were wondering though if there was going to be enough magical damage. I know we're talking about this during the drafting phase. Does IGV have enough of that? Does the Timbersaw actually help provide enough of that burst that VP should be at least more focused on killing the Timber?
Definitely. I saw some strange bans though. I think they banned out Ember.
Yeah, Ember was the final ban.
Like I don't think I've seen that hero in a long time.
No, it would have been a very odd lane as well. But maybe they're just wondering like what would be a bit of a problem matchup. That is the upside about the lineup for IGV. The fact that Batrider, there's no like Sleight of Fist Searing Chains, which would have like messed around with him at all. So we can actually initiate properly on almost every single core. The SD, not as great a counter as he used to be up against the Batrider just because of the range.
And looking at Ramsey's items, I wonder what's going on through his mind. He only started off with 2 tangos, and perhaps wondering if he needs to Iron Talon at the start, maybe get some boots.
Well, he's going to head down to bottom lane, and IG actually do what they're doing, which is the Iron Talon abandoning Batrider. He's gone straight into the Dire jungle. Like, can you rush up something else? If you're only going to have the tangos, can you go for maybe even that early hand of Midas and get a big injection into the mid game?
I think he'd rather probably get an armlet very, very early on. And Lil, they don't have an Ogre. That was first ban, but he's kind of playing like one.
This is the way all the CIS teams love playing their Slaughter. Normally it's actually done in combination with the Iron Shell of Pasha, but you kind of need to get him up to level 3 to have that level 2 before it becomes really effective. So both of the off lanes very absent from heroes for VP and IGV. They're both just sticking to the neutral camps for the moment.
And it looks like Treant Protector is going to head down to the bottom lane. Was wondering what Q was going to do on that. Sometimes we see the level 1 nature's guys so that he can go for a chicken snipe, but looks like he just wants to soak out some experience.
Well, as long as he doesn't get caught out. With the rotation of Solo as well as Lil, you can find Q hovering around that bottom rune area. Not the easiest kill in the world. Just because he's just innately tanky. And with Leech Seed, it's a very difficult kill as well. This will be a very passive early start to the game until everyone starts to build into their primary items. The only lane which you could potentially see some big pop kills is this combo we've seen multiple times during the group stage, and that's the Timber versus the Dragon Knight. But you wait until that level 6 on the Timber once you bring in the Chakram.
Yeah, the Timber doesn't have a Quelling Blade, so he's actually losing out a little bit in the CS department. Just a little bit behind, but very difficult versus the Breathe Fire. And in the bottom lane, this wave is pushed up all the way to the tower because IG Vitality have a very nice sentry ward that blocks a big camp. And VP expended a ward already, unable to deward, and Q will get some free XP. Much needed.
Actually really nice for Q to get so much of this. It may have been a little bit nicer for the Batrider to pick that up, but in July, okay, now he's going to TP down to the bottom. Ramses opens up, now with Rage of cooldown just a little bit of a second. In July can harass Ramses down, but Zolo is there, so with the defensive disruption, he'll keep In July back. But IGV keep their tower alive, and VP understand that chipping away at a tier 1 tower when you're going up against a Treant Protector doesn't make a lot of sense, but this does if they can actually attack into the Luna. Burning, better stand by. IGV, really strong lanes. We called it before. It's just this Treant as well as Witch Doctor. They make sure IGV will survive.
And they're able to keep tabs on a Slara. Slara is... he's not the most tanky hero if he's around sprinting, so they can't tower dive too much. Need to wait for more items on the Lifestealer. And he's not getting absolute free farm on the bottom lane.
Lil's hoping for something, but he's not going to get it at the moment. This actually has to be one of the most passive starts the VP have been forced into in this entire tournament so far. They've always been looking for kills, always been looking for that hunt, that level of aggression, but their lineup is just a little bit slower than that. So it's a lot more patience we're seeing out from VIRTUS Pro.
And Injali is able to free farm wherever he wants. 4.5 on the Batrider, just constantly stacking.
And everything else just becomes a contest. That top little pool camp.
I don't really see any signs of VP trying to turn up the pressure anytime soon.
Well, they can wait, right? Like, until Lifestealer's level 6, he doesn't even have a combo here. You've got the sprint that comes out from the Slaughter. Potentially with Surge from Darkseer, that initiation range is going to get better for VIRTUS Pro. But who do you initiate on? You still want to initiate into a Leech Seed? The troublesome Q, who got a lot of levels from the bottom lane, so having Overgrowth is also a problem. Q is actually doing a nice little job. The crush will come from Lil, but with the Leech Seed already out burning, no reason for the Paralyzing Cast Count just yet, but with Pasha moving over, this might be a better reason. In July, rotates in too. They go for another crush. Q is low, but the damage onto Lil is so high, the living armor won't protect him. Lil will get the bash in the first blood, loses his life to burning. But a kill is a kill. VP gets something on the board. ITV something straight back.
He all in for that end. Whew. That was a close one. But if they wait too long, then Batrider's just going to get his Blink Dagger, smoke up, get a couple of easy kills. They don't have the best supports to deal with the Batrider. Shadow Demon's like alright, I would say. Just not the best range on that disruption to save people. But as you mentioned before, who do they really gank? Top has Witch Doctor defending, and then all the lanes have Treant Protector defending.
It seemed to make more sense to go on that little insurgent mission of Lil. Like maybe you catch the Batrider when he's low doing that stack, because that's exactly what In July was doing. He was doing the big stacks he had inside the jungle, but had to be pulled off to come over. So he only loses out in 2 skeleton minions. That's all he lost because of his movement, and he still gets the experience levels from killing off the Slaughter, or being involved in that.
In the bottom lane, Q spots out Lil, trying to wrap around from behind. With the Blightstone, this tower should fall shortly, if not for the help of the living armor.
Maybe they actually bring in more support too to hold this tier 1 tower until they bring detection. They actually cannot kill off Q. He'll always have that Nature's Guide to dive back into. So he's got to pull Ramses off the tower. Ramses, whenever he plays his Lifestealer, loves just to rage, have a TP scroll if he needs to get back out again, but he'll rage to protect and just beat the tower down. But Q will hold this. He just needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, you know, buy a little bit more time for the Batrider. And Luna, top of the CS charts right now. Pretty decent lead over everyone else. And in the mid lane, Timbersaw is slightly behind the Dragon Knight.
It's going to be our first little smoke of the game, burning it in July. So in July, he did spend all of his money, didn't go directly in for a Blink Dagger. Instead, he's got those Tranquils, Raindrops, plus the Wind Lace for the movement speed. So trying to close the distance, and they're pinging out. I don't know if they actually want to head to the top, or if it is their goal. No one will be the nicer gank to have, because this will get Sakatara a little bit in front as Chakram slows him down. Now the Paralyzing Cast, a quick stun, allowing for the lasso with the early points of a Maledic as well. Dragon, I mean, dragged back in through the fire, get a little bit more damage down. No one will definitely pop. IGV with successful smoke rotation kills off the VP mid.
That was a great angle for them to gank from. They came from the left side, and then Timbersaw covered his retreat path to the right so that he could get slowed down to the point. And this is a smart play, a big play from the Batrider to actually not straight farm for the blink. They'd expect maybe a timing around 9.5 minutes, I would say, at this pace for like a blink smoke. And so he thought he had a couple more minutes to farm, and that's a very difficult thing to predict.
So IGV ahead in the board. They're actually fairly ahead in CS too. One big thing is the fact that Paparazzi's got so much space on the top. He's managed to already crack that 60 CS mark, sitting just about 400 net worth in front of the lifesteal. Mid lane, the gank is on. SD is all there. Even the Darks here committing that wall, so they want to attack the tier 1 tower.
And you can see the effectiveness of Solo's kind of patented build, his max soul catcher build with no shadow poison. That's kind of been the go-to for most shadow demons now, but the Timber Saw just dropped. There's no chance of a TV reaction. Even living armor, he's not going to survive.
We're going back into stall, however. There's no sentry ward, there's no detection again on VIRTUS Pro. This allows Q to freely walk up wherever he wants to. So Burning drags the creep wave back. Now they TP the Timber back into the mid lane. So all this chip damage you normally get from a DK, which we capitalized on in a couple of minutes time, it doesn't happen. Q's already got 3 points up in living armor. In July might be in a little bit of trouble with the open wounds on him, but Ramsey's, that rage won't last long enough. And with the Firefly down, he cannot pursue in July into the trees.
And VP just don't know where to attack right now. Mid tower is still very healthy. Bottom tower was at a 3rd HP, but now it's healed back up by the living armor, and they're just buying so much time. VP, this is the time where they attack all the lanes, get a couple of kills, and start to get their blink daggers and just keep the train rolling. But there is just nowhere for them to go, except for farm, and they don't want to farm.
You got to give props to IGV. They've read VP's timing perfectly. They understand how to counter against it. Farm up a huge core. It's going to be a very big Luna going into the mid game. Burning's still getting levels for himself too. The fact this tree and it was able to get so many early levels, that living armor, maybe the sort of chip push the VP was running was going to be more successful because they're chipping away at the tier 1 with the lifestealer, the DK into the mid. Like all this is working nicely, but 3 points up in living armor is just so damn efficient.
They just have to limit the Slaughter's timing. They don't really have a good place for the Lifestealer to infest. Like, they can't really get quick picks like they want until he gets his Blink Dagger, but he's sitting at 300 gold right now, and with no towers coming anytime soon, and with in July getting free farm, it might be a tough task.
Everyone's going to moonwalk for just a moment. We'll pause up and get a little bit more stable. So we can always just laugh it off. But yeah, Q, maybe once that armor is there for Ramses, he can force the issue a lot harder. Force rotations out from IGV, because right now it feels like IGV are committing only just the bare minimum to hold the lane, to drag the lane back.
I think overall though, this is going much better for IG Vitality. VP maybe not expecting such a staunch early game from IG.
That's a support player right there, everybody. That's Burning.
With this set,
it's a very, very nice set. Crafted in gold. Hi, everybody.
we're admiring the models.
That's what it's like. We've got mood lighting down here in the theater. It's a beautiful theater as well. The atmosphere is nice to actually bring a Valve Major back into a theater environment after Ben and Royal Hall.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Cozy.
It is. It really is. It's a lot more intimate.
Yeah, I can almost touch crowd.
Almost. They're just there. They're just there. So man, like this game is a lot closer. Like when I woke up this morning, I'm like, okay, VP versus IGV. I'm not expecting it to be as close after IGV's performance during the group stage, but they really seem to have in the last 2 days, because each team had a 2-day break coming into this, maybe even a little bit more if you played in the Group A. They've taken their time, they've looked at VP, and VP did exactly what we were expecting for them in the draft, and IGV, at least they've got their drafted position to help them win here.
But that's the thing about VP's draft. All 5 of their heroes you could have probably easily predicted, especially with the bans coming out in the first phase Luna from IG Vitality, and there's a couple differing theories on the draft. One is like pick if you win, just keep picking the same thing until someone breaks you, or just change it up every game so they never know what's coming. So that's kind of like Wing's philosophy versus VP's philosophy, and VP have yet to really be tested, especially in the group stage where they just steamrolled everyone. But I would say this Treant Protector pick is causing a lot of difficulties for VP, and it's just slowing them down a lot. Even faring over a Dust or a Sentry Wards can stall precious seconds, and all these towers still alive is a big problem.
And wasn't it Lil who said during an interview over at the summit the fact like if they have to change up, like if someone does force them into a different position, like they would only have to reveal maybe 10% of their strats in order to get back on top. So we're back into the game now, so everything is smooth for the players. And we continue this battle. Where we left off, VP were trying to bring down the tier 1 tower and bottom lane. IGV are in a good position to trade, so they're now pushing the tier 1 tower with the regeneration of Burning, that little babysitting of in July, and the damage that comes in from a Luna. It's a straight tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade-off, so eventually it was going to happen. But IGV managed to stall that long enough, they get themselves a good trade-off.
And bringing up the items, I see that IG Vitality have heavily committed to raindrops. They have 4 raindrops on their side right now and only 1 on the side of VP, so they just do not want to... There hasn't been any fights really, so it's like, do you expect to be able to farm, or do you want to actually fight a lot? And judging by this and this smoke, they are ready to get some kills.
That smoke happened right underneath the Radiant Observer Ward, so Virtus Pro are very aware what IGV are doing. There was a ward that was placed down a long time ago by Solo.
Yep.
So all they wait for is the mid gank. So even if the smoke's going to fail, you want no one to reveal himself. You want someone to show themselves because you just move around and run this with this Luna, just a straight pressure, tier 1 to tier 1, and you catch out VP before they're willing to defend. The Dragon Knight form was already triggered. You do not have this. So instead it's going to have to be Lil combining up, and yeah, here comes VP. Coming in for Solo, can't get disruption off because moving to the front lines to try it. As it all VP get is the amplification over on the Batrider.
They're also struggling for one of their ultimates. Shadow Demon is the only hero in this game that does not have his level 6.
Could be not certain if IGV, with one person up the hill, they would have seen that smoke. So IGV now disappear into the trees, quite literally with the Dream Protector. And it's VP who are now going to attack. They're going to attack into IGV.
There is very little way they can push into this. And nope, Blink Daggers on either side, so daytime means very little chance of actually getting a kill, but now that nighttime has descended upon us, might be time for them to make some more aggressive maneuvers. Now the DK has to be very, very scared when farming his jungle. They don't really have great vision on that bottom side of the map, which would be a great attacking angle for Vitality to come from. Shadow Demon kind of sitting behind.
Have we really turned this into 5-man Dota? Paparazzi was able to find a double damage rune in the bot river, so farming up the quick, just a 1 ancient stack for him.
I think this definitely favors Vitality. They have a much better team fight. And VP, which of their heroes are good at team fight? Just the Darkseer, really. I'm looking at the other 4, and they have a fair amount of damage, but a lot of it single target.
And until you get the Blink Daggers, is it really that effective?
Yeah, they need maybe a big vacuum crush, but that's pretty hard to pull off in this. And the Lifestealer is always going to be hindered by the Treant Protector. And of course, they have to worry about the magic damage output from the Luna and the Timbersaw before any BKBs come out.
So as MVP just turned this into just a little bit more of a split game again. So the tier 1 tower on the top lane is being harassed down with the Dragon Knight triggering his form. Once this kills, because this will allow the one to finish up his armor. But IGV, again we go into it. A 1-for-1 trade, tit for tat. It'll be the tier 1 tower that IGV want in the mid.
They're doing 3-man smoke though, and they're leaving the DK up on top, so IG Vitality may be a little bit wary.
He has the TP scroll available, so this can still be a fight. The tier 1 tower's already taken, and IGV now heading to the south.
They're pinging them out, but IG Vitality are sticking together as a ball, and most of them are just stacked behind the Luna just in case one of them gets caught out. They have a ward to drop their tracks behind. Will it pop the smoke? Yes, it will.
So Lil gets revealed.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And he's only just close enough to do that too.
And IG Vitality head straight back to mid. They don't want to lose a tower.
Well, they're becoming a lot more confident to fight now. Luna's just completed a Commander style, flying out with a level 2 ultimate from her. You can still get in close thanks to Nature's Guise. The detection being that close to your own tower, not really possible. They know there's a sentry ward because their other one got de-warded.
It's better for them to defend so they can heal the tower and then make a favorable trade later. This T1 tower, especially important for them because Luna wants to farm Ancients over and over again.
There's so little in this game. We got a smoke maneuver from IGV, but the network's really close.
Radiant's
Like,
middle tower
not even
is under
100
attack.
gold in it at the moment.
They saw Pasha TP bottom. That will be their target, but he is surged and he is gone.
Well, even if they don't kill Pasha, the Luna's going to force the lane out. With 4 points up in Glaive, she pushes really, really quickly. And July is searching in around the tower, so they realize that no one's there to defend. They even scanned this beforehand. No one to pick off, so this is just going to be a tier 1 tower. And VIRTUS Pro, for the first time, they're not in position to get a counter tower straight
Getting a
away.
lot of space though. Lil's just farming the top lane. He was sitting at 300, 400 gold maybe just a few minutes ago. Now closing in on his Blink Dagger halfway there. IG Vitality, do they want to defend this mid tower? I don't think that they're set up in position to do so, especially with that Observer Ward behind the T1 tower in Lil.
Do they see him? They see him. The sentiment wants there. Q's going to be revealed. A quick crush and a quick kill. Very deep into the Observer and Sentry, just to the southeast of the mid tier 1. So it's a kill and a tier 1 tower trade-off here from VP and IG.
Yeah, 3 of their Observer Wards are set up in the mid lane. And they could do a lot just for a tree kill, lost a T1 tower in the process, but Lil still kind of just away from his team, doing his own thing.
Is that team fight timing you're talking about? Just build up to it, be patient. That's all VP need to do. If you take a really bad engagement here, which is also very possible, all you do is just you feed the Luna. And then you'll have no way to deal with her.
Especially before BKBs. And I think that's the sort of game where if you're the Slardar, you kind of want to aim for a BKB going in late, or else Timbersaw will just destroy you every time you go inside the fight. So I also think it's important for the Slardar to stay alive so you can aim multiple people. They don't have a really good way to take it off aside from the Manta on the Luna right now. So I think Lil is a very important hero in this game.
As long as he doesn't die, Lil. Okay. Action Fake Crush. The bounty rune.
And despite all this farming, Timbersaw is actually pretty far behind. He is number 4 in net worth and has not gotten his Bloodstone yet.
In July, tried to slip over bottom lane. The pings already came out. I think he's asking for another invis. Solo started his TP. Lil's on the run out. So it's VIRTUS Pro understanding the movements here of IGV. They don't really have that many deep wards to find IGV's movements. They see Burning stacking thanks to the Observer Ward. That's right next to Sentry. That was what helped VP in the last fight. And the other one's sitting right in front of the tier 2 tower. So they don't see much more outside of the mid lane. The jungles are very, very dark for them.
But Luna's just been taking stack after stack after stack.
She's about to hit the 10,000 net worth. Nice little mark for her. Already with the Dragon Lance, already with the Mana Style. The range is good. The disengage and confusion from Manta is also good.
I think it's about time for VP to fight though. They have the Blink Dagger on the Slardar, they have a DD in No One's Bottle, and Lifestealer has his Echo Saber. Most of his items are complete, aside from perhaps a Desolator.
It's also IG's time to fight. They're getting far enough away from that Observer Ward. In fact, Burning is de-warding it at the moment. That they can do something with the Blink Dagger, which is freshly onto in July.
I would say it's a fairly predictable smoke though, because Batrider's not showing, and then they just de-warded and they're all grouped up around mid. So if they do it, I think VP will kind of expect it at this particular moment.
So what else do you try and attempt? Like you just keep farming?
You can maybe make a Roach play, but VP already have Observer Wards in the area, and they have eyes on Burning, so
maybe even time for a gem, then get it up on the Batrider. Risky when you still want to run a Tree and Protector.
So now they see in July. He thinks he's safe with the Nature Guys, but Tree and Protector had died there not too long ago, and with that Observer Ward Sentry combo, Blink Dagger will be revealed.
He kind of has to know. Like with the way the fight happened previously, unless I think it just timed out. Treant's walking around with a Sentry, but he's just dropped it in the bottom part of the river, so VP smoke up. They're about to cross over with that Observer Ward. They did see a lot, but in July, up on the cliffside, breaks it. The blind Blink Crush won't work. Tree Protector is a huge holding. 5 quad inside of it with the back wall. It may be it. This Monstro Death Ward is doing its work, but the Batrider, it's IGV coming out on top. VP forced back. The Blink Rush into work. In July is not done just yet. He wants Pasha. They need to get closer. Sakata gets in behind Solo, and with the sticky napalm, he can't even turn fast enough. Paparazzi, a double kill for him. In July, kills off Pasha. It's a team wipe. The favorites VIRTUS Pro just lost everything to IGV.
That was phenomenal positioning from the Batrider. He hit in the trees, he popped the smoke on the back line, and overall their positioning was just great. It's up the hill on the Ancients, and VP, they wanted to fight under the Observer Ward, but IG Vitality, they didn't make the obvious play. Like, a lot of their plays have just been not by the books. Batrider fighting way before his Blink Dagger, not even going for the Blink Dagger first, not smoking as soon as they get the Blink Dagger, and VP, they're expecting all of these things to happen, and they're getting punished when they're like, okay, I guess we should do something because things aren't playing out the way that they wanted it to.
It's spiraling out of control. The draft just plummet down. It's like right now it's only a 3,500 swing for the net worth, but let's actually have a quick look at it again. So there's Lil's initiation, and Q at this point roots the entire VP lineup.
And the Eclipse comes out, and everyone is just clumped up around. They're trying to get all the illusions from the wall of replica, but Embersol is just so good at cleaning up in this sort of situation, and what great positioning by the Treant Protector. Dodging the Blink Crush, getting a 5-man root, and staying alive.
And judging by that camera view is steaming up in the IGV box, they are looking good. They just need to keep that momentum going. There's your graph plummet. VP need to stabilize, but IGV are definitely the ones in the driver's seats.
They just, I think, need probably 1 Force Staff, maybe a 2, I guess, on top of the Batriders, just so they can save someone from the Blink Crush. If they can save someone from that, then they can kite the Lifestealer easily with Root, and then after that, most of their damage will be gone, because Slardar is nowhere close to a BKB, and he is just going to perish, and after that, they don't really have too much control with the Vice. DK does not do that much damage. He's also forced to get a BKB because of this Timbersaw pick.
And with all of this, with no money for Monkey King Bars, Paparazzi looks even better. He's just walking around with casual evasion, but once this is a butterfly, they're still in trouble, and IGV, they're knocking on the bottom door. They want to come into the VP base, so it took 21 minutes and a bit.
Under attack.
Burning's the first one to do damage to the tower, and now they're actually TPing out. They get VP to return home.
But look at the Observer Wards that they've set up. VP have been hailed as one of the best in this patch because of their ability to set up great vision. But now that they've lost fights, they've lost map control, that are losing out in the farm battle, I don't really know if they can keep up their network of vision.
Well, they're trying to. This is the reason why Solo smokes. Puts down 2 Observer Wards in the bottom river area.
Yeah, it's probably time for the Batrider to get a gem. Maybe if they secure the Aegis first, it's still a little bit risky to fight around the pit. I think DK's pretty good in the pit, as well as the Darkseer especially.
It seems like a risk that they just don't need to take, but it looks like in July they're going to hover around it.
They still want to fight.
You have the double damage rune on the Luna, and this may just be enough to encourage them to go in.
Yeah, but VP certainly knows up, and they certainly will not let this go for free.
No, they have to fight. Fresh item of the Desolator over on the Lifestealer, so you'll have that for this fight, but they send illusions down from the SD to have a look towards the pit with the Observer Ward and the sentries down. They're right on top of each other. IGV, they're pulling out of the pit. So VP got the information that Roshan's down to 50%.
Yeah, there's not that many blind spots for IG Vitality, but that is one of them. The northwest of the Roshan pit. And they have to wait for them to walk into that Observer Ward. If they push mid T2, I wonder how IG Vitality are going to react. Might just be time for them to work on the Roshan, but without the DD, it's not going to drop that quickly. They're going to find Smoke. Yeah, he's at 50% HP, so now they're going to be scouting inside the pit with those Solar Illusions.
IGV's coming to fight. They're coming to fight. So it's just illusions. The body blocking of the illusions, it just pinged. It just pinged. Solo knew what was happening, so then they just jumped forward looking for the SD down a half-life. They hit the mark! July has to force out himself away on low life. But the Luna and the Timberstorm will drop. Timber won't be down for long, thanks to the Bloodstone charges. The Solo's positioning, noticing the illusions of having clear passing, allow VP just to set up properly, but they're going to go for Roshan. He's down low with the amplification shot and causing some problems, but it's still radiant. They get 1 the kill on Roshan, and 2 pick up the Aegis. As we have ourselves a small little pause. This is actually a huge time to pause because that Flame Break is going to push a little onto the hill.
VP is just really smart about fighting, how they took that last engagement. If SD dies, not the worst thing in the world. It's not like he really has any items.
Oh, Lil gets down just in time, so the flame break doesn't push anybody around.
Yeah, and Luna just got blown up so quickly.